Welcome back to Mental Health Matters with me. This is a brand new episode. If you are a new subscriber, please click the subscribe button. Also like, share, comment, get engaged, interact. We are all learning. We are all sharing knowledge about your mental health. So we also cover a lot of topics. I cover a lot of topics that can be very general. I sometimes cover things that are happening in our world, the things that are happening around us, current topics, and so on. But the main point of this channel is to help us maintain a healthy mental health system and take care of ourselves, take really good care of ourselves. Because when you do that, then it's much more easier to manage life, to manage whatever it is that comes your way. So if you are someone who continuously watches the channel, please make sure that you're subscribed and stay tuned. So in the last two episodes, I have covered two topics about self-esteem, the self-esteem series. And I thought I just thought, okay, I'm just going to stop there and go into other things. But I thought, let me continue with the self-esteem series because of the engagement. It seems like a lot of people really want to know how to handle the self-esteem thing, because your self-esteem is the first thing that you present everywhere you go. It is the first thing that comes up when you have to deal with anything in your life. Money, or finances, people, friends, family, work, hobbies, whatever it is that you do, to maintain yourself, whatever it is that you are connected to, whoever it is that you're connected to, your self-esteem is something that usually leads the way. It is a very big part of your self-image. It is a very big part of how you see yourself, how you regard yourself. So I thought today, let me go into the topic around acceptance, because self-esteem, like I said, is a part of you. Everywhere you go, you will react, you will interact, you will exchange energies with people based on the level of your self-esteem. So some people have a healthy self-esteem, some people have a relatively low self-esteem, and that can affect almost everything in their lives. So this is also connected to your acceptance, self-acceptance, and whether you have accepted, parts of yourself that you cannot change is the biggest question when it comes to the idea of self-acceptance and self-esteem. Have you accepted parts of yourself that you know that no matter what you do, you cannot change, or circumstances in your life that you cannot change, and you've accepted them? That is a very big part of self-esteem. And let's break down what are these things that we have to ultimately accept, knowing very well that we can't change, or ultimately accept because we cannot change. First and foremost, your past, your family, your circumstances, all the things that you have experienced that were beyond your control, under the authority, under the structures of this world, of this life, of guardians, of parents, of whoever it is was responsible for you at a specific period of time in your life. So what people don't really want to admit, and I can see that there's a shift. People are slowly accepting this, because we can see it. We can see it everywhere. Reality TV, we can see it everywhere. In any situation, we can see how adults, grown adults, in high positions of authority, in positions of power, in any situation. It could be in a family setup, it could be in the government, it could be in a company, it could be in an organization, it could be in a social circle, in a group of friends, wherever, where you have a certain amount of authority and a certain amount in relationships, in marriage, wherever you have a certain role to play, a position, a specific amount of power and authority, we are seeing how people struggle simply because there are things that happened when they were children. There are circumstances that were beyond their control that are today affecting the way they think, the decisions that they make, the kind of lifestyle they live. So we can see, I believe people can see that there is a connection, because usually when there is a problem, when you are experiencing a problem in the way you do things, the way you handle yourself, the way you handle issues, the way you handle life as an adult, and you're struggling with that, it is highly connected to how you saw others around you as a child handling life, handling situations, the influences around you, the things that happen to you, whether good or bad, as a child, and how you handle that, and how you had to just observe that. But now it's affecting you as an adult, because you are now an adult and there are unresolved issues that are in your subconscious, they're at the back of your mind, they are there. It's just that we can't really see them, or we are not consciously reminded of everything that we went through, our memories and the way our brains are built. It's a whole complex situation. We can't really remember every little thing that happened, but there are concrete things that are solid, that happened around you when you were a child, that affected your development, that affected your self-esteem, that affected the way you view yourself right now. So, like I made an example last time when I said, if, for example, you are struggling with body image, you are struggling with so many things, with the way that you look in particular, because this one is a very big one right now. People want to constantly modify how they look, their bodies, and do so many things. And of course, they absolutely can, right? They absolutely can. I'm not here to say it's right or wrong. It's not my place to decide, because I've never had that experience of having to modify my body. So I can't speak on behalf of others who have gone through those experiences. And some people have health conditions that are serious, or situations that are really serious, that affect their health, and they need to go in and do the surgery and do things to improve the quality of their lives. But what I'm just saying is, if, for instance, you do all those things to try and enhance the way that you look, but you still feel like crap, it is highly possible. And in fact, it is not possible, but it is mostly true, that the voices, or the voice that continuously tells you that you're not good enough, that you don't look good, no matter what you do, no matter what you put on, you still do not feel good enough. It has been proven that this is the voice of somebody else. These are the voices of people around you, probably when you were a child, that bullied you, that mocked you, that used to look down upon you, that used to tease you about the way you look, the color of your skin, your body, your weight, your height, your size, the shape of your body. It is highly possible, it is in fact proven, that those voices will continue up until we become adults, and we wonder why we do so many things to change the way that we look, to look aesthetically pleasing to the world, but we can't seem to get to the bottom of it, simply because you need to change that voice, and you need to remind yourself that this is what I was told. It's not what I believe about myself. So if you look at that example that I just made, there is a level of acceptance that you have to make. You have to accept. You have to do. You have to accept the fact that that was done to you, and you had no power and you had no control when you were a kid, and there were adults around you, uh, other children around you that used to make you feel less than, that used to point out what seemed to be flaws in their eyes or weaknesses in their eyes. You need to just accept the fact that there's nothing that you could have done at that time. Because you were a kid, you were vulnerable, you didn't know much. But now that you're an adult, you can absolutely change that. And as the title suggests, I think it's really, really strange. I find it very, very strange as to how we are so quick to accept other people out there. But when it comes to accepting ourselves, it is a huge problem. We are so quick to idolize. Remember that when we idolize, when I put someone on a pedestal and I look up to this person and I feel like, oh, he's the greatest thing, and I support them and whatever and so on. It simply means that I have accepted this person. This is why we see how in the media right now there's a lot of idols or celebrities or famous people or people that were deemed powerful that are now falling off the ranks simply because people have now realized the truth, right? But if we go back in the recent past, people struggled. And even today, there are people that struggle to see the truth about someone that they've idolized for a very long time, simply because they have accepted that person with their flaws and all. But they struggle with accepting themselves. They struggle with accepting themselves. How will you know? How do you see that you haven't fully accepted yourself? Like I said, you will continuously try to change and modify yourself. Try to fit into a particular category. Try to fit into a particular box so that you can be accepted. And the more you do, it's the worse things become. You feel worse than before because you are trying really, really hard to fit in, but you haven't accepted the realities about who you are and what you went through so that you can transform your self-esteem and become a new person, basically. So that you can just become a new person, basically. I did not, I did not pop up I did not wake up one day feeling confident and feeling like, ooh, I have a healthy self-esteem. I have a healthy self-image. I believe in myself. I believe in my voice. I'm in control of my voice. I'm in control of everything that I say to myself, and I don't allow anybody to tell me anything because that is a reflection of themselves. That's not a reflection of me. It did not just magically happen. I had to accept everything that everyone said about me that made me feel less than, that made me feel worthless, that made me feel not good enough, not capable, etc. I had to accept it. I had to feel it. I had to accept it. And after doing that, I had to realize that, hey, they were actually talking about themselves. They were not talking about me. They were projecting because they themselves are already struggling. They are already struggling. They are already struggling. Even today, they are still struggling. So how can I possibly allow the voices and the insecurities of other people to continuously haunt me to a point where their voice or their voices become my voice. So I had to go through that process and that moment of realization. And after doing that, I had to go in and find my voice and redefine myself. Who am I? Who am I? And what do I think about myself? How do I regard myself? What's the issue? Why do I feel less confident, or why do I feel a particular way in a particular setup and this and that? I really had to dig in, and it's a process, because there are some days where you take a few steps back, you backtrack. There are situations that will make you backtrack to those voices of people that told you that you were less than, but then you gather up the strength and the courage to say, no, actually, that voice is not valid anymore. My voice is valid. My voice is the voice that I need to listen to. So we need to accept that. Let's talk about, for example, the money situation. I think in our generation, millennials, Gen Z, Gen whatever, Gen X, I think, Gen Z, Gen X, I'm not sure. But if you just think about these generations, not the older generations, but maybe from the millennials, if I may say that, from the millennials, I really think that we are people that have really become successful financially. And we have become very innovative. Let me just say, we have become innovative in the ways in which we make money. We have allowed our creativity, our talents to bring us money, to sustain us, to create a new type of generational wealth, and we can see that in so many ways. There's so many examples, YouTube being one of them, of course, and many other things. And still, in as much as we have really innovated and transformed ourselves in the most beautiful ways and magnificent ways, at the same time, sometimes we struggle with maintaining that wealth and maintaining that success, if I may put it that way, especially on a monetary level, on a financial level. And I really think it's because we haven't accepted our realities and circumstances around money, and how we grew up in certain situations where some of us parents had this idea that money cannot be spent. If you have money, you need to hold on to it. You need to save everything that you have, and you can't even buy yourself something that you really, really like, or that you really do something that you spend your money on something that you really, really enjoy. And we are the generation that is doing that because we go on vacations, we explore the world, we invest in so many great things, right? But what is the issue around us actually sustaining this money over a period of time that is, long term? And what is the issue behind us losing it? There's inconsistencies, if I may say it like that. It's like, oh, I got R1 million right now, $1 million, and I worked really hard, and this is my first million, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that, I'm doing that. And then down the line, I am absolutely back to where I was. And then, okay, I kind of pick up, and maybe I get up to a $50,000, 50,000 rands. Like, there's inconsistencies. It seems like there's something that we have not accepted about the ideas around money that we grew up in, the influences, and how that was somehow transferred to us by parents. Some parents believe that when you have money, you should spend it, and you should spend it on things, that can either, that are not that sustainable, or that will not help you in the next 10 to 5 years or in the future. And we see that a lot. That is just an example that I think, requires a great deal of acceptance. When you accept that, oh, this is the type of environment that I come from in regards to money. This is how my mother or my father used to manage his and her money. And I think that was unhealthy, because my parent was in debt, or my parent has had a negative idea about money, or my parent just glorified money. The only thing that was important was just the idea about having money. You should just always have money. Those things are unhealthy, to a certain extent, and they impact you. So you need to pave a new dynamic that you are going to use to control your own finances, your own habits, and so on. But we can't move away. We can't do that if we have not moved away from those circumstances. And how do we move away from those circumstances? We need to accept. There are parts of your body that you just need to accept. This is the color of skin. This is my color, and there's nothing I can do about it. This is how it is. If you look at your family, for example, look at the health situation in your family. Genetically, are you people that are prone to like chronic illnesses? Are you prone to, I don't know, migraines, headaches? Like, what are the genetic health conditions that you can see have been passed down from one generation to another? Even body weight. Are you people that have a petite structure? Are you tall? Most people in your family are probably tall or short. Most people have a round shape. Most people have this kind of shape, the features on your face. These are the things that you cannot you cannot modify. You cannot really change, because they are genetically transferred from one person to another. So when someone out there is saying to you, oh, you look bad, or you look like this, or you look like that, knowing very well that this is something that has been genetically transferred, you were born with it, it's in your DNA, that clearly means there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. Even if you go to the gym, yes, you will see whatever difference in your body in regards to your health, or whatever it is that you're working on, whatever it is that is your goal. But there are things, your bone structure, your mass, there are things that you cannot change. And you can see it in your mother's generation, your father's generation, your grandparents, and so on. Yet you allow another person to come and tell you that you look fat, or you look thin, or you look this and you look that. Logically, it doesn't make sense, because you were born with those characteristics in your DNA, with those qualities in your DNA. And he too, or she too, was born with those qualities in her own DNA. There are things that do not make sense. If you come and you tease me, or you say something bad about me, and it's very evident that it doesn't make sense, it doesn't change anything. I was born like that. Why should I feel bad? Why should I feel bad? And even if I feel bad, how is that going to help anything? And how is it going to transform the life of that person who's saying those things? This is why I keep saying we just need to look at people and realize that people are simply going through a lot. They are going through a lot, and they are trying so hard to find a way to release this pain, to release the discomfort, to release the issues that are bubbling inside. And they pick on other people whom they feel are the most ideal. They look ideal. They are confident. They are healthy. They pick on those people because a person cannot say to you, oh, I look up to you. You inspire me so much. Yes, some people can, but those people are people that have accepted themselves. Those people are people that love themselves because they don't have an issue with giving you a compliment because there's nothing to lose. You don't lose anything. You don't lose anything. In fact, you can even exchange compliments. Oh, I like this. I like your shirt, or I like this, or I like your hair. I like your face. I like your body. Oh, I like your eyes, or I like this. You even exchange because there's an energy of positivity that is being transferred from one person to another, and these people love themselves. They've accepted themselves. They have a healthy self-image and a healthy self-esteem. But if someone is saying something bad and terrible about you, how is that going to transform anything in their lives? How is it going to transform anything in your life? It's not going to do anything. No matter how we feel, whether we feel good or bad about it, it's not going to do anything. So it's a complete waste of time. And that person is simply screaming and crying out and shouting out for help. They are in need of help. And that's just about it. So we need to accept, sit down with yourself and look at the things that you cannot change. The things that you cannot change about yourself, your body, your life, everything, your past. And then look at the things that you can change. And usually the things that you can change are the dialogues that you constantly have with yourself. What are you saying to yourself? What are you saying to yourself? If you're saying, I'm smart, that changes everything. The minute you say, I'm a smart person, the minute you say, I'm a very smart, I'm a creative person, I'm highly creative, you'll see how in everything that you do, you just, there's this spark of creativity that just comes up. Like all of a sudden you have a lot of ideas and you're overwhelmed by your own ideas and you wonder why. It's actually you having changed the dialogue, having changed something, that voice in your mind, and that voice then acting upon what you've said. There's something that's really, really powerful about internal dialogue, the things that we say to ourselves. It's like your body, your mind, your system is so intelligent and so loyal. Whatever it is that you say, good or bad, it plays out. It plays out in your life. And the funny part is, as human beings, we like to wonder, like, why are these bad things happening to me? And sometimes we don't realize, oh, why are these good things happening to me? Sometimes we don't realize that your dialogue, you first have the dialogue and then things happen, things change, things transpire. So we need to sit down, look at the things that you would like to accept about yourselves, and look at the things that you cannot change. Yes, things that you want to accept because you can't change, and the things that you can change. So I really hope this was helpful. And this is really important because we cannot, there comes a certain point in your life where you can't allow people to tell you anything about you. Like, you are in charge. You get to tell yourself about yourself. And that's just about it. In order to be successful in whatever that you do, in order to feel healthy, in order to be at peace, in order to feel beautiful, to feel content in whatever it is that you do in your life, and so on. So I thank you so much. Please stay tuned in for more, and you're welcome to share. Stay subscribed and see you next time. Take care. Bye.